For most of its existence, Saint Vincent is shaped only by geology, weather, and sea. Volcanic mountains rise steeply from the coast. Rain falls heavily on windward slopes and feeds short, fast rivers. Forest covers most of the interior. There are no large plains and no wide deltas. Food appears in cycles. Fish in coastal waters, birds and small animals in forest, fruit and roots where soil is deep enough to hold moisture. Survival depends on moving between these zones rather than dominating any one of them. Human arrival comes by sea, not by land. Small groups cross from other islands in canoes, following currents and visible coastlines. Travel depends on seasonal winds and knowledge of safe landings. These first settlers do not encounter empty abundance. They face steep terrain, limited flat ground, and storms that can destroy shelters and boats. Settlement is gradual. Camps appear near rivers and sheltered bays where fresh water and fishing overlap. Population remains low because food storage is limited and transport is slow. Communities must balance between staying near the coast for fishing and moving inland for planting. Permanent towns are rare. Villages shift with seasons, soil exhaustion, and storms. Life is organized around repeated movement rather than fixed ownership. Land is used, not enclosed. Food comes from two systems working together. Coastal fishing provides protein through nets, traps, and lines. Farming supplies root crops such as cassava and yams, grown in small garden plots cleared from forest. Canoes connect these systems. They allow people to move between bays, rivers, and neighboring islands. The sea is not a barrier. It is the main road. Settlements cluster near water but above floodlines. Houses are built from wood and thatch, designed to be rebuilt rather than preserved. Villages are small because large concentrations of people strain food supply and attract pests. Authority is local. Leadership depends on experience in navigation, farming, and negotiation rather than on inherited rank. Decisions focus on where to move and when to plant rather than on conquest or tribute. The interior mountains divide rainfall and create narrow agricultural corridors. Gardens are placed where soil collects and where paths can reach them from the coast. Rivers are used as routes into the forest and as sources of fish and fresh water. Steep slopes limit the size of clearings. Farming remains dispersed. This prevents soil exhaustion and reduces risk from storms or crop failure. Tools are made from stone, shell, and bone. Axes clear forest for gardens. Graders process cassava into flour. Pottery stores food and water. Trade moves these tools and materials between islands. Stone that does not exist on Saint Vincent appears through exchange. Sea routes connect the island to a wider network of communities that share techniques and crops without forming political unions. There is no central authority across the region. Each island supports its own small populations linked by marriage, trade, and seasonal travel. Conflict occurs but does not create permanent control over territory. Without large surplus food or pack animals, armies cannot be sustained. Power remains limited by transport and storage. Political structure remains flexible because resources are scattered. No single group can monopolize land or labor. Influence depends on the ability to organize fishing, planting, and travel rather than on enforcing obedience. Social order is maintained through kinship and ritual rather than law codes or standing forces. Saint Vincent exists as part of an island network rather than as a separate state. Movement across water is normal. Identity is shaped by routes and seasons rather than by borders. The island supports human life through balance, not accumulation. There are no plantations, no fortresses, and no export systems. The economy is measured in meals and safe journeys, not in surplus. His is the world that exists before European arrival, a system adapted to mountains, rivers, and sea routes, organized for survival rather than extraction, and limited by what can be grown, caught, and carried.